let's take a look at our top selections. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. 4 stakes races on turf on tap at Pimlico on Saturday, with the feature being this race, the Grade 3 Baltimore-Washington International Turf Cup. Let's take a look at the field. For race number 8, we're going a flat mile on the turf. Field past the number 1, 8-5 on the morning line. This is a horse that's been banging heads in Grade 1, Grade 2 company, and his tactical speed really gives him a little bit of an advantage over the number 4, Pixelate, who's more of a closing type.
Yeah, that could be the difference, Dan. We'll see. Maybe this is finally the right spot for Field Pass, who you have mentioned his first 3 starts this year, probably just in over his head, and also in races that they, for whatever reason, had fast paces, which you don't usually see in turf races.
And that might not be the case on Saturday as we throw up that Timeform US pace projector. Field Pass very adaptable. He's either going to the front or he's going to sit second. Ramsey's Solution sacked in his seasonal debut. I thought that was a good performance. I personally believe he's more effective when he's on the lead, and I think they send him from the outside post.
Yeah, that's probably their best chance to win this race. I mean, not that he's, hopeless against the 2 morning line favorites in here. He certainly has a chance in this race, but it feels like if he could make the lead, it would give him an even better chance.
Field Pass is a multiple Grade 3 winner on synthetic, a Grade 3 winner on turf. And last time out, Mike, in the Wise Dan, a Grade 2, he did a lot of dirty work in that race. He was pushing Some Like It Hot Brown, who's a quality horse, on the lead, and he just couldn't forge on by. Set Piece, who's razor sharp, was able to get everybody in the lane. All in all, it was not a bad effort at all. And I like this horse cutting back to a mile.
I do too. I like him cutting back, and I like the class relief that Maker's finally given him here because his first 3 starts just came against better horses. He didn't run poorly in any of those races, Dan. And again, they just all had fast paces, and that includes the Wise Dan last time. They were moving up front. And this horse chased it for a long way. Set Piece, as you mentioned, who was a big closer, came from out of it and closed them all down. I mean, I actually feel like this horse has come back in good form as a 4-year-old. He just doesn't have anything to show for it.
Yeah, plenty of excuses. The Maker's Mark, tough spot off the layoff. The Man of War may be too far and on a fast pace. And the Wise Dan last time out where he did some work. This is a little bit of a different story than Class Relief. The 2 Posterity won this race. We're going to show you at Pimlico a 12,500 claim. He did come from 22 lengths out of it on the backstretch to get it done. Posterity, let's just say he's in good form. This is a giant reach.
It is a huge reach for him. I guess, they're hoping for a fast pace in this race so he can just sit back and do this, Dan, make one run.
The number 3 is Talk or Listen. And I talked to Arnaud de la Cour early on Thursday afternoon, and turning back to a mile, I think he's not sure whether it's going to enhance this horse's kick or not. This horse was a stakes winner in France, going a mile and 5/16. He worked out a good trip 2 starts back in the dinner party when second to Some Like It Hot Brown. Some Like It Hot Brown just had the best trip. He was able to control the pace. Last time out, he kind of moved wide while Pixelate saved ground. Delacour said the ground was too soft for him.
Yeah, maybe he has an excuse for that race. I can certainly see him being fine at the mile. I guess my question would be, Dan, is he good enough to beat the 2 favorites in here? I know he ran a 99 buyer at Keeneland back there in April. That figure hasn't really held up. We'll see. He's not impossible in here. I prefer other horses.
Pixelate received just a beautiful trip and ride under Joe Bravo to win the Prince George's County last time out. Let's watch that race. He saved ground early. Joe made all the moves, split horses on the backstretch, got back inside, now gets to the outside. When I talked to Stidham before this race, Michael Stidham, his trainer, said, you got to wait because Pixelate, once he makes the lead, he'll kind of hang on you, and Joe timed it just right. He goes by a decent horse, Logical Myth, late to win with a 94 buyer. Now, he may not get this sort of trip and scenario in this spot if he goes. I talked to Stidham Thursday morning. He says he's also eyeing a race at Colonial later this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see if he shows up here. This is actually a good spot for him, although, he is sort of more of a staying kind of horse, so maybe he needs a little bit of pace in front of him to have his best chance, especially as he cuts back here to the flat mile, which I guess could be a little short. We'll see if the race sets up the right way, Dan. He's a really good horse. I think he's actually underrated, but I also feel like Field Pass might have a big advantage on him here over this distance, with the projected slower pace in front of him.
Now, Mr. Delacour is not sure whether Talk or Listen will appreciate cutting back to a mile. Graham Motion believes that the 5 English Bee's best distance is at this mile distance. He was only beaten a length in the 2020 Maker's Mark Mile, a race that did have a bunched up finish. This is his third start of 2021, Mike, and while his first 2 races on paper don't look good, he kind of had, I thought, uncomfortable trips in both, especially that dinner party where it looked like he just didn't want to go through a hole on the rail.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he ran fine last time, actually, and I agree with you that maybe he just didn't want to come through. I agree with Motion, too, that I think the mile is a better distance for him. I don't really like this horse the longer they go with him. You know, he's been around for a long time, Dan. We've talked about him a bunch of times. I think he is actually good enough to beat this field if things break his way. I've just sort of lost confidence in him recently. I mean, it's been a long time since he's won a race.
And Ramsey's solution, he could easily win this race if he's able to control the pace up front, because his most recent start at Churchill Downs, it was off of a 6-month layoff, and he's had a good trip in the pocket. It looked like he was outpaced a bit on the turn, then in behind horses turning into the stretch. And by the time he got fully clear, the race was over. Set piece had rolled by everybody, and we know the form set piece is in. He came back to win the Wise Dan with a triple-digit buyer. This is an interesting horse. He's won half of his 10 lifetime starts, and he's lightly raced enough. We might not see his best just yet.
Yeah, I agree. He could take a step forward in here. He's got a great running style for this race. Like, it does feel like they could make the lead if they wanted it. That could give him an even better chance to win this race. I didn't take him on top, Dan. I thought about it. I do think he's a player in here. I'm going to stick with the favorite down on the rail.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the BWI Turf Cup. Mike's going Field Pass. If Pixelate scratches, I'm more than happy to take Field Pass in here, given his tactical speed. I don't mind Pixelate that much turning back to a mile. Looks like he's really training fast, maybe just to kind of keep that speed into him. 4 bullet workouts at Fair Hill recently. You're going Field Pass. It's just a likable, honest horse who's underrated.
Yeah, all those things I think are probably true. And again, I actually do think he's come back in good form this year so far. Things just haven't worked out for him.
Same super, different order for us. 1-4-3-5 for Mike, 4-1-3-5 for me in the Grade 3 Baltimore Washington International Turf Cup, one of 4 stakes races on grass at Pimlico on Saturday. Good luck.